What a horrible event. I hate that I was ever nice to any of these motherfucking people.
It completely intimidates a member of Congress from just being able to vote their conscience.
Yeah.
To where like, hey, no, this is where I stand on this issue. You've got all of this power and money with the party leadership that then come in and say, how dare you not stand with the party, or how dare you do this, and you do this, and we're not going to back you in your next election, and it puts that member in a tough spot.
I don't have time to flesh this out right now. I super disagree, but I understand that perspective. I've heard it a lot. I feel like during the I understand that perspective. I just give
What an actual cuck. What an actual cuck loser. Are you getting the right screen right now?
Yep.
So we're going to talk about your memoir. This is not real life. I've been telling people that you were the original e-girl. You were the first one that I noticed. But does that make you the original e-girl? Were you doing?
Boxy was.
True. Sorry, never mind.
Like something new around 2015, 2016?
I mean, it's not a label I wear proudly, but sure, I'll take it. Original e-girl.
You're the first one. Okay, so maybe it's.
Hold on. When somebody says e-girl, what do you think of?
I mean, pretty much like kind of like a boxy type streamer girl.
Like big.
I wouldn't go big boobs. No.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Like big eyeliner wings, and like there's like an e-girl
Yeah.
aesthetic, and yeah.
100%. Yeah.
I don't know if I would consider any of the. Can you be blonde and be an e-girl? No, I'm just kidding. That's too far. I don't know if I would consider these people, or like Lauren or any of these people, e-girls. I feel like the closest would have been that boxy look-alike shoe on head, but even that, I'm not sure I would consider an e-girl. I don't know. I also feel like e-girls have to be involved in like
Usually from the gaming sphere.
gaming or gaming adjacent. Yeah.
A little bit condescending. I don't mean it. Okay, so you're online and you're a girl. It is,
Yeah.
but like being first is kind of cool, right?
I think someone in the chat just said patient zero in the culture war. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of cool, but also, sorry, I'm getting a call right now. Not good.
Yeah. Dan's
You do kind of take the initial slings and arrows and have to learn everything first and foremost the hard way. So all the initial cancellations, like I had no idea what I was getting into when I went viral at 19 years old. I had no idea there would be blogs documenting my every move. I had no idea there'd be a wiki feet page set up for me. I had no idea I'd have like stalkers flying out to find my family and where I live. I didn't like online virality was very, very new in 2015 when it initially happened to me. So you get all the excitement of going viral, you get all the dopamine and all the people loving and following you and cheering you on, but I really didn't know what I was signing up for at that age.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I would see you, and it was just exciting because it was like, first it was like, oh, here's a pretty girl who hates immigrants, and
Wait, hold on. I work with SMA antennas a lot, Wi-Fi at all, and most of the time the panel mount connectors are replaceable. Your unit might have this BNC on the panel, but go to some smaller connector to attach to the PCB. That should be replaceable, e.g. if the inside is a... Sure, it might be. I'm just saying, I know that if I unscrew this thing on the outside, like if I unscrew this nut and nothing moves, nothing comes out. So I'm pretty sure I would have to open the panel up and then look inside. And maybe I could do it. That's work. We'll see.
multiculturalism and feminism. This is what I've been looking for. This is the template. And now you see these women online, and it's just like, it's kind of boring. They're not even like, at least you did some real reporting. I mean, you went places, you interviewed people, you produced some documentaries. Now it's just like, here's me in a bikini, and I'm racist, and repeal the 19th Amendment, and like they try to do something with it. It's like,
That's crazy. I remember publishing a video it had to be 2018, where I said I was stepping back from YouTube to make documentaries full time because I did not understand how so many people were still watching these YouTube videos. Like, we were on the 400th rendition of Feminists Suck. And I'm like, how many Sargon of Akkad videos, how many of my own videos can I watch where I just find a new way to say woke bad? Like, I could look at the title of one of these YouTube videos and predict every single thing this person was going to say, even if it was like an hour-long live stream. And it could not, I could not get my head around how we were still doing this. Like, we have to get new things to talk about. We can't just repackage the same stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm going to focus on documentaries. And part of that was also me wanting to get out of the right-wing social sphere. I wanted to...
Can you talk to Richard Moore? He's probably the only reasonable centrist. Maybe. I just don't know what we'd chat about. I need to do more. I wish there were more like communities to like be a part of. We need like one other community thing to be a part of. Okay. We'll figure it out.
What do you mean?
Well, like, I feel like one thing that was nice about streamers is streamers, just by virtue of streaming so much, would have communities. YouTubers don't have like communities as much. Like
yeah.
like think of like Brian Tyler Cohen or David Pakman even. These are big online people, but like where is their community at, you know? Like I don't think they have a large community presence. And it's nice to have multiple communities, you know?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. So like, would you say like, I don't know, IRI, I would say is a community, but he's a streamer, right?
Yeah.
Are you looking more into like that direction, more like friends with other community members and like hosting them and like bringing them on and like talking and like maybe like a live and learn-esque podcast type thing, or what do you mean?
No, just like being into like, well, so for the brief moment in time when before Ethan lost his mind, the H3H3 community, it was nice to have like a second community that was kind of like in a similar sphere. Like like it's very annoying that when you fight with Hassan or if I fight with any right winger, these people can like can send for the Bannerman basically, like light the torches or call for Gondor, and you've got all these other communities that don't even normally associate with these people like showing up for it to like in their defense. It feels like there's nothing like that for like center left communities. It's kind of annoying.
Yep.
Kind of isolate and do my own content where I'm on my own and I don't have to kind of be in these weird.
Go to Less Online, the Less Wrong meetup. Rationalists are very adjacent to you, and there's probably a Slate Star Codex guy meetup near you in spring. Maybe. Libertarian types just scare me because they don't treat politics with the respect and reverence that it deserves. So they all end up like intellectualizing their way into these quasi-libertarian positions that are just not very fun to engage with. But I don't know. Maybe it's unfair for me to characterize all of them that way. To be fair, I think most of what I see Scott write, most of what I see Scott write, I think is pretty good. Even like politically oriented stuff. I just don't know how I feel about a lot of other people like me. I'm not sure. Like, I love Ayla to death, even though most of you guys fucking hate her. 50-50 because she's a woman, and then 50% because her political opinions are kind of dumb. No, I shouldn't say dumb, but a lot of her political opinions are really bad. And I'm like, okay. Dustin, you created that. You had the election stream too. Well, yeah, but that was before my rape case. Which 59 days, okay? Listen. Well, no, actually I shouldn't say that. I'm going to say finally, fuck it, we'll just go to trial. Less than 2 months. I think our calendar call for trial is May 18th. So less than 2 months. Hopefully, please God, hopefully the judge doesn't push anything back. And yeah.
Election stream on track.
So all of us are going to show up at the courthouse and
That's right.
see if Abby shows up. And then we're going to argue for 2 hours over whether or not Abby is a credible witness. And then the jury's going to make the decision. And, well, she might show up. We'll see. No party depositions, no deposition or evidence from Abby. We're just all going to the courthouse. We're just going to have the debate of our lives. Whew.
Just tell your lawyer I got this.
It's really hard when DGG will just giga shit on anyone if they have a minor disagreement. Do you think this behavior could be curbed by some heavy moderation against it? I don't know. It's hard. I try to control for that pretty hard, but it's very, very, very difficult to... That's just the nature. It's unfortunate. It's the nature of a lot of online communities. Like you see it happen in basically... Yeah, you see it happen in basically every single online community where as soon as there's slight disagreements, people go fucking crazy. I've seen this happening a lot with, I think I brought this up as an example before, like the ARC stuff. Like ARC came out, was super popular, and then the counter jerk appeared almost immediately. And then there's like a counter jerk, and it's just like, this is just like the nature of online communities for some reason. I don't know why.
Sphere, I wanted to kind of isolate and do my own content where I'm on my own and I don't have to kind of be in these weird...
Can I ask how much of a financial hit this court case plus the YouTube demonetization has caused? I'd say a little bit north of $1 million, but you know, it's just a small congressional race. What are you going to do? 6-figure retainer for the lawyer nowadays. What song is that? 21, 21, 21? I don't remember. Whatever.
Do my own content where I'm on my own and wanting to get out of the right-wing social sphere. I wanted to kind of isolate and do my own content where I'm on my own and I don't have to kind of be in these weird... I mean, I was discovering some of the more criminal, crazy circles that I was brushing shoulders with at the time. So yeah, I was seeing it back then, and I still don't. I think the reason that it's maintained now is certainly post-COVID, a lot of new people logged in and are checked into the online sphere that weren't before. There's a lot more young people. So it's kind of like a new slew of people getting into the anti-woke content that is just repackaged content from 10 years ago with a new face. But yeah, not a lot of people going out there. It costs too much. It is cost prohibitive to go out and make documentaries. It's cost prohibitive to go out and come up with new content and new subjects. You actually have to sit there and think, and you make way more money just posting rage bait. There's no cost to it. You sit in your house, you turn on a camera, you get people mad, and it's just number go up. It's cost prohibitive to make original things.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's the laziness of it is what gets me. And I remember in your book, you talk about at some point, yeah, like how many times can I say feminism is bad? I watch some of these people.
You should really try to build a bridge with Michael Tracy and Matt Taibbi. So Tracy's in town, and he messaged me, and we're trying to set up something to chat. I have zero respect for Taibbi as a human being, and I wouldn't trust myself to be in the same room with him with all my... Just kidding. That was way too edgy. I hate Matt Taibbi. I think he's a disgusting and deplorable human being.
Why?
I think he's a fake journalist. Just... like, people just don't... I shouldn't have to say this, okay? Like, when people ask me why, it's like a guy just stabbed to death some dude for no reason. It's like, well, why was that bad? Do you know what the entire premise of, like, the Twitter files was?
No.
Like, the entire premise of the Twitter files was the wealthiest man in the world just bought a social media company, and now he's inviting journalists to come and talk to his employees at the new company that he just bought to try to dig up dirt on the last owner. Like, the entire premise of that is incredibly fucking skewed. And then the fact that all of the people that went there engaged, all the journalists, quote unquote journalists that went there engaged with that premise uncritically is unfathomably
Insane, yeah.
crazy to me. Like, oh, you're going to do free PR for a billionaire guy who just bought this company? Whoa. Tell me more about how the new owner wants to trash the last owner. Wow. Really? Crazy, dude.
Makes sense.
I know you said you wouldn't pay off Redacted, but is the math to the point to where it would have made sense to do that insane payout she asked for at the beginning? So one, you can't really retroactively do that. The biggest thing that I underestimated in this whole court case is I love everybody and I respect everything about our judicial system and I love and respect everything about the United States, but I didn't know that maybe there's just 6 months where you get no rulings on anything. That's just a thing that I just didn't intuitively, I just didn't know that could happen. Number one. Number two, so she extorted me for $1 million, but the legal demand was $15 million. So when she was suicide baiting, that was when she was making the $1 million request, which I'm just never giving into. I don't give in any blackmail. You can't, if somebody's gonna blackmail you, just say, fuck it, release your shit. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm not gonna do suicide baited blackmail. And then the legal demands were $15 million, and she's never budged from that. And also, like, keep in mind, there's a different cost. You're buying different things with each of those. So remember, any settlement we do is going to come out with me always looking basically like a rapist. Like, people are going to assume the worst because any settlement we do, even if we have like non-disparagement clauses, even if we release like a mutual statement, it's just going to be impossible because people are just going to like, oh, he probably bought her off because he was guilty of everything, right? So there's that. And then there's also the fact that after she released the Substack, there's just no way that we're ever settling on anything because there's no world where she's ever going to be able to walk back all of the insane things that Lauren wrote for her in that Substack. She would just never, I know she would never do it. Well, she hasn't done it. She hasn't agreed to any of it either, right? And even when we tried to settle our disagreements, they never budged from their $15 million ask, so. Yeah. But like at some point the money, like let's say she was asking for $1 million, and let's say that to go all the way to trial and get a win is 1.5 million. I'd probably pay the 1.5 million because at least I can say, look, I literally won in court. Why would I, why would I pay $1 million for a settlement that is not going to like vindicate me in the eyes of the public, right? There's no point in that.
You can look at their videos or you can look at their articles 10 years apart, and you would not be able to tell like what decade it was made. I mean, it's amazing. Can I say feminism is bad? I watch some of these people. You can look at their videos or you can look at their articles 10 years apart.
Is there any amount you would have settled for, or is there, I feel like we were talking about this before. Is there any amount you would have settled for as repetition? Once she released the Substack, it was basically impossible to settle. She put herself in a position that she couldn't maneuver from, and then I can't because there's just no way I can't. That Substack is crazy. The Substack she wrote was fucking crazy. There's nothing I can. Yeah, at that point, sorry.
You get people mad and it's just number go up.
When is the trial? It's supposed to be May 18th, I believe.
It's cost prohibitive to make original things.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's the laziness of it is what gets me. And I remember in your book, you talk about at some point, like how many times can I say feminism is bad? I watch some of these people. You can look at their videos or you can look at their articles 10 years apart, and you would not be able to tell like what decade it was made. I mean, it's amazing. It's like you thought wokeness and like people denying differences between men and women was like a big issue in 2014. Like, okay, you're in 2026 and you're still citing the same studies and making the same videos and making the exact same argument. It's like, what is this, low intelligence? Like, what is it about people that they just need to hear the same thing over and over?
Well, it's a formula. It's a comfort thing. It's the same reason people watch reruns of Seinfeld over and over, or The Office, and won't go out and find new content. It's comfortable and predictable. And it's funny because this is coming from the camp that often talk about how they want to push boundaries and be offensive. Every show name is like some energy drink or WWE wrestling match. We're going to be crosshairs, offensive, like breaking new ground. And it is the same comment over and over and over again. Or my favorite is when people say, I'm going to say something that might get me canceled, but they say the safest thing possible that their audience are going to cheer on no matter what. Like literally saying the opposite of what they were going to.
These are my talking points. I know she stole these from me. Trust me, I know. Somehow.
Schizo.
I
would get them
know.
canceled in their sphere, but no, it's
Yeah.
it's exhausting, and I don't like I don't think these people are seriously engaged in politics. I don't think they're interested in it. I think that it's algorithm. They're looking at number go up, view go up, and they're just predicting what to say based on that. The people that are seriously engaged in politics are going to be on the margins of the popular culture. Usually, they're going to be the ones that people don't like that much because you're changing or challenging the status quo of the certain groups that are challenging each other in the popular culture. But yeah.
Is it wrong to think that next to no one would even know her clips got leaked if this didn't go to court? Yes, of course. The main drivers I think it was probably her dad partially, because I think she probably lied to her dad and told her that she was a virgin, number one. So that was a whole weird combo she had. And then two, it was Lauren De Laguna, that now I have really, really good reason to believe was pushing everything in the background. So I think those are the two huge people that pushed in that direction, yeah.
Don't like that much because you're changing or challenging the status quo.
Do you think the Lauren De Laguna lady was just pushing it out of spite? On you?
Yeah, because she hates me, yes. Absolutely.
And does she hate you because you wouldn't date her?
Yes.
Or is
it sounds stupid,
yeah,
but
no,
like
I understand. Yeah.
Also, something I don't know if I mentioned this on stream, but I've gotten like so many random messages. This dude, I don't know how I run into these people. I've gotten so many fucking random messages from people who like have heard of her or know her like historically, that where she's just been involved in just like crazy stupid shit, even past like all the public weird shit that I've seen that she's involved in. Hold on. Did I ever send this? Do you see in Dark Triad?
No. I'm gonna need to read it.
Sure. And like this guy has like pictures of her when she's like 22 or whatever. So it's like I'm pretty sure it's real. But like so many crazy stories like this of her like stalking guys, getting obsessed with them, trying to destroy their life. Like I don't know how she's done this. Well, I know how she's done this because she's not a public figure, so there's no like trail of stuff. When I do my big write up at the end of this case, though, it's good. Like there's going to be a significant section that's like dedicated to her history, because people need to know before associating with this person that she does the same pattern. She's doing it right now, actually. I'll talk about that as well. She's doing it right now, actually. Again, playing the same pattern over and over and over and over and over again.
Jesus Christ, yeah. So you're not like the fucking first victim on her radar?
No, not even close.
Huh.
Culture, usually they're going to be the ones that people don't like that much because you're changing or challenging the status quo of the certain groups that are challenging each other in the popular culture. But yeah, it's boring. I just find it boring. I tried to acquiesce to it for a bit. I talk about this.
Is she hoping that a jury trial will give her an advantage by victimizing herself? Seems like a very transparent strategy. It's just to waste my time and money. It's just to waste my resources and to attack my reputation for as long as possible. That's it. She doesn't care about any of this at all. She knows she's not planning on winning. She doesn't take the case serious at all. You saw how like much of a fucking retard she looked like when she went up on the stand for the hearing. Like she's not taking it seriously. She's not reading anything or keeping tabs on anything. Or like Lauren admitted that her and Pixie were deleting evidence. They were using Signal the whole fucking time. Like she's like they haven't gotten anything in discovery. Like it's all just a big joke to her. She's doing her shitty fucking law school so that she could become her next fucking family mob lawyer once she graduates with her shitty law degree. Like that's just her track on life. When you come from wealth, when you're in rich families, feels good. Okay.
But yeah, it's boring. I just find it boring. I tried to acquiesce to it for a bit. I talked about this when I was doing stuff with Tenet Media. I'm like, okay, maybe I can do like one more woke bad video and use it to fund more serious content. But it just took up all my time, drained my soul, and was just another compromise so that I could keep a career going that was in its death knells, because it was just based on tagging along with this movement that I somehow got involved with when I was 19 years old.
Yeah, and that's one thing I liked and kind of admired. You kind of disappeared, and you didn't just milk it. Like you had a lot of fans, you had a lot of fame. You were the first mover. You're still young, by the way. You had like these e-girls now are like, they're pretending to be young and they're like 40, and like you.
I hope you have evidence of it, then you can get it for spoliation. I don't know if we'll file. I don't know if we still can file. Oh no, we can. I think until I think the deadline is actually the 31st. I think it's in 12 days is our deadline to file anything. But I don't know if it's worth it, because all spoliation does is get me favorable things, but I don't even know how much of that is even going to show up in court. Because again, the only thing they can talk about is the Abby thing. None of the Lauren De Laguna stuff is technically related to my case, like on the claims themselves, and then it's going to cost me money because I have to pay money to file the motion, and then they're going to do a response, and then I got to pay money to file the reply. I don't know.
Why does this guy keep saying e-girl? I don't know. Do you not find that weird? I find it weird.
Well, he's not like a super internet person, so he just thinks like online pretty girl that does a thing online. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Because I think online, I would say that's a derogatory term.
Yes, but I don't think he realizes
But he has no idea.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mover. You're still young, by the way. You had like these e-girls now are like, they're pretending to be young and they're like 40. And like you, I feel like you're older than me, but you're younger than me because you've been famous for longer. Like you went viral at like 19. And you did it. And then you're like, okay, I made my points about feminism and I'm not going to just be online all day making the same points again and again. It just, there was diminishing returns to this. You wanted something more serious, and that's admirable. Not everyone wants that, or not everyone goes in that direction.
I mean, I appreciate that. Like, I don't even know if it's, I guess it's admirable. I'll take that. But it's just like, I would literally lose my mind. I don't know how people are not losing their mind.
Wouldn't it be favorable to your bar complaints? Actually true.
It's like, I don't know how and the only thing I can predict or guess is that they don't take it that seriously. Because I think if you take discourse seriously, if you are actually interested in human beings and you're interested in how they tick, how they work, how the system works, you cannot continue I got chills when I read your base ritual article. It was so upsetting for me because I've been in those conversations. Like, I don't know how you can continue the virtue signaling or the base ritual perpetually if you're actually interested in advancing any sort of conversation or humankind. So I don't even know if it's admirable. It's just, I think it should be the bare minimum for anyone engaged in politics to not do this. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, you're saying like it's not admirable because everyone should kind of be like
It's
this.
bare minimum.
But we know that they're not, right? Like we know kind of what people are like, and people are just happy to. I mean, it's just, happy to not even say the same thing. Like, I think when you started out, and I'm old enough to remember, like 5-10 years ago, like there weren't just people whose entire career was like making stuff up. I mean, that's like, there are Twitter accounts now who are just like breaking news, and it's either something that's completely made up, or it's distorted on some real news, or it's just like taking a headline and then just posting the headline and never the article, and saying there was one about Catholics the other day. It was like a Atlantic headline.
I can't believe one of the worst things that happened on Twitter was the whole checkmark debacle.
Oh, Jesus.
Combined with the revenue stuff. Because now you can make a fake account, pay money, I guess, to checkmark it. But as long as you can post enough fake news, the checkmark gets paid for with the revenue generating stuff. It's such an I'm trying to think of any platform has such a horrible issue where checkmarks are just so meaningless.
Yeah, no, they mean literally nothing.
I'd rather have check marks as I know they are a real person, but they're not. They're not anymore. That's not true. I'm pretty sure the majority of the check marks on Twitter are still fake people. It's just
Checkmark doesn't mean real person, right?
No.
It's just you paid $6 for the fucking thing.
Yeah.
The rosary became a hate symbol. It's just, obviously there are like these extreme Catholics who like, adopt these symbols, but they're like, oh, the Atlantic wants to exterminate Catholics. And it's like, and they're not even new articles, right? It's just like they have a 20-year archive of like headlines.
Remember when Dan said the paid checkmark would mean less bots? True, he was totally wrong on that. Just kidding. Actually, I think I'm the one who said that. I thought paid checkmarks, theoretically, I thought could be a good thing. And I don't know if Dan argued against it more or Cake, I think, argued against it more. I still feel like there's a world where that could have worked. But when they started introducing the revenue generating stuff, that's just such a horrible idea. You could also just make that checkmark more expensive and get rid of the revenue generating. So you shouldn't be able to make money posting on Twitter. I guess now that I'm remonetized, I guess it's fine, but whatever. I don't know. It's not good.
They get mad at, and the same like direct out the same headlines. Like I will see people getting mad in 2019. Someone in 2023 will find the same.
Yeah.
They will get mad all over.
The worst part. Okay.
And Instagram means nothing as well. Is that true? I feel like Instagram checkmarks are still pretty reputable. No.
I didn't even know Instagram had checkmarks.
Fuck you.
In 2023 will find the same.
Yeah.
They will get mad all over.
The worst part. Okay. The worst part of being like the first or patient zero for this stuff is I will see stories that I highlighted like 10 years ago coming back.
Fuck. Okay, stop. We're getting sidetracked too much. Wait. You thought this question is too much for bots and that their verification process would still exist, but that was bad thinking because it assumed Elon was a good person. I've just never seen somebody tank a brand so hard. Like, Twitter was so unbelievably reputable. Like, bro, having a checkmark on Twitter, that was like some big dick shit. You could fuck people off of having a checkmark. You're like, I got a fucking checkmark on Twitter. I'm hot shit. I'm a big fucking deal. And Twitter was like the place for breaking news and everything. It still is, just because no platform has come up to replace it yet. First mover advantage and existing community make it hard. The inertia makes it hard to move anything else. But like, think about the brand of Twitter today, or X, compared to the brand of Twitter like 3 or 4 years ago. It's just crazy.
at in the same like drag out the same headlines. Like I will see people getting mad in 2019. Someone in 2023 will find the same.
Yeah,
they will get
same
mad all over.
topics. The worst part of being like the first or patient zero for this stuff is I will see stories that I highlighted like 10 years ago coming back into the cycle, and I got super canceled for talking about them. Like I was in the news all over white supremacists, like you got to ban her off these websites, you got to like put in her Wikipedia page that she's a terrorist or banned from countries, and now they're mainstream conversations. And I'm not saying like I was 100% accurate on all these stories or anything, but just that because the ice has already been broken on them, now people can talk about it, even though that conversation was happening 10 years ago and is being recycled. There's a story in Canada about mass graves that I was covering like 4 or 5 years ago. The news came out and said that there were mass graves of Indigenous children all over the country. And it ended up being that these were just like anomalies that they found. One side started rejecting the idea that there was any abuse at residential schools altogether, which went a little crazy. The other side said there was basically a genocide in Canada and started burning down churches all over the country. And it ended up, these were anomalies in the ground, and they didn't actually find any bodies, especially at the like main initial Kamloops place where they talked about it. I did this story 4 or 5 years ago. The local news said that I was a white supremacist, Holocaust denier, this, that, and the other. And now it's back into a mainstream story. I'm seeing it all over my feed on Instagram. I'm seeing it on Twitter again. It's being covered. And once again, it's just that recycled story. And I'm like, whoa, are we going to do this for the next 20 years? Is it going to just crop up like in 4 or 5 year cycles, all of these different subjects?
Yeah, right. That's another good point. You were kind of, because you were first, you were doing these things, and you weren't like that extreme. You weren't like a white nationalist. You weren't a Nazi. You never said women shouldn't vote or anything like that. That's not even like that extreme these days. There's a girl who is.
True. She was never that extreme. You're banning trying to say otherwise. True.
Being chilling.
Definitely not. Who hasn't gone on a boat before?
Entire claim to fame. You probably know this person.
You're saying the N-word or something?
You're saying yes. Yeah. That's all she freaking did. She has 6 figures. She has like 200 or anything like that. That's not even like that extreme these days. There's a girl who is entire claim to fame. You probably know this person.
You're saying the N-word or something?
You're saying yes. Yeah. That's all she.
Who's this other girl?
She has 6.
Are there multiple now for the what is it? GoFundMe's that were dude. I don't even know. I don't want to talk about it. There were 2 of them, right? There's the one they called the little
Empath Chan. Sorry.
Oh, they might be actually. I don't even know. There's so many N-word girls. No, Empath Chan has done considerably worse things than just the N-word.
Yeah.
But that one woman who just called that little boy an N-word in the park, didn't she make like $1 million? And then the crazy barista at Starbucks or whatever, didn't she get like $500K or something?
Yeah, they made good money on it.
Figure. She has like 200,000 followers or 300,000 followers right now. All she did was on TikTok. She said the N-word, and now people listen to her.
And I'll see these people booked on like mainstream shows too. And these will be shows that'll be like, oh, we're not sure we can book you because your Wikipedia says like you're a terrorist and this and that. And I'm like, I was just kind of, I was a little too early to a lot of these things. Like, don't get me wrong, I did some crazy stuff. I said some things where I watch old videos of mine and I'm cringing. I'm like, that was, you don't really think when you're 19 years old, this is going to be on the internet.
You debated Lily Gaddis, her too? I don't even remember, but yeah.
Forever. And when people watch it, even if they're watching it today, they're not looking at the date on that video and they just assume that's the me that exists today 10 years later after having all these different life experiences, which is tough to deal with as well. I don't know how to merge people's vision and view of me with the person I am today, especially because I've kind of retreated into my walled gardens and given up on the online space in a lot of ways. I don't know if it's possible to merge reality with the internet right now. There's just too much, the space is too flooded with nonsense and people want it. They like it.
Yeah. I mean, how does it affect you these days psychologically? So when I listen to the audiobook and you seem to...
Okay, wait. Magic Dart, it says that this attack counts as both magical and physical. Does the witch's nose increase the damage of this by 1 or no? Because it's supposed to 1 magic damage.
Like...
Oh, you're missing out.
You say at some point...
Way better.
Shut the fuck up.
These days psychologically. So when I listen to the audiobook and you seem to like... You say at some point, I think near the end, that like it's not like all behind me. Like I still think about these things. You seem to get upset that people, you meet people, they might not know who you are today. People are still saying things about you online. Right now, you seem to deal with it with good humor, and it seems okay. Like, how much does this stuff get to you, like on a daily basis?
It's for the most part, I've been able to make a split between this is the internet, this is people who don't know me. I can't care that much, or I will lose my mind, and reality in my day-to-day life. There is a bit of a feeling of. Like when I go through the border, I still get pulled in and questioned, and I see the border agents pulling up, my YouTube, Wikipedia, all of this, reading it, and I get questioned about it. So it like permeates my real life. I was at a coffee shop the other day, and some guy comes up and whispers to me and said, "You did great at the Parliament hearing," which was when I was being questioned about Tenet. So it's like I think I described it like the upside down in Stranger Things, where I see like the glitches at the edges of reality. That I still know there's this digital world out there that affects my life. Or the worst part is probably interpersonal relationships, like. Dating is almost impossible for me because there's this like archive of my eternal history and a bunch of stuff that's not true as well. Like I remember I dated this guy and then his mom started sending tons of articles about me to him about how I'm a fascist, this, that, and like that was part of the stuff that ended the relationship. So a lot of people don't know how to handle someone having this massive digital archive about their life. And, someone else may have done stuff that's like way worse, way crazier, like had a criminal past.
Dude, if that happened to my family, my mom would be like, you found a queen.
I love I love him,
Good job,
Stevie.
This or that, but it's not easily Googleable or has, hundreds of forums of gossip about it. So it's something that I'm aware of and that I know will never go away. Even when renting places or, anything that includes a background check, it's going to affect me. People get pretty off-put by having a crazy internet.
Did you ever confirm with Lauren if she knew she was getting paid by Russia? I don't think she did. If she did, she didn't tell me. But I also told her if she ever told me that, I would turn her to the State Department. So
history, but you learn to live with it. What you gonna do?
what?
So,
Why is this kind of
so
fire?
I'm kind of, similar. I have a kind of a checkered internet history, and it never bothered me. Like, I think contempt kind of is the defense mechanism, because it's like, I know these people, I know I'm smart. I know other people, like, who sits around all day making up stuff about people online, like a loser, like who cares what these people think? But like, would you say stuff like, oh, they like Google me, I meet them in real life? I've never had that. Like I've like, gone to Airbnbs, I've done all the normal stuff. I've enrolled my kids in school. Nobody has ever said anything bad to me. Now, maybe you're a woman, maybe you're more famous, maybe it's I don't know, you're more videos.
The stuff that comes up about me is pretty crazy. Like if you look up like my Wikipedia or something, it says.
Have you looked at my Wikipedia?
No, should I?
It's pretty bad. Yeah, it's getting better. I have, there's people. It's contested territory, but like half of it is dedicated to white nationalist writings of like 15, 20 years ago.
Okay.
Base.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not that bad. Like I'm fine. I do all right. I don't think I could ever get like I'm working in a job that's aside from politics, but I'm like I don't think I could ever work in like a public facing job in the normie world where people could like Google and contact my employer. I don't think I could ever do that.
The same. Yeah, I could never do that because like I couldn't take it, and also because nobody would hire me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Who's the guy on
but
the
this is
left?
one thing I
What
talked
has he
about.
done in the past?
Murchid Hanania. He's just like a independent conservative writer guy.
Journalist guy? Okay.
Yeah, but we've interacted with him a bit on stream. You should know him. Fucking read him.
I was gone.
Book as well, which I think, you've got this whole issue of foreign influence in the political sphere and people being bought out by different interest groups. Like I would argue the vast majority of influencers now are paid for by foreign governments, interest groups, corporations, all behind the scenes money, not just like their donations or subscribers. Would you agree with that statement?
You said most?
Yes.
Yes, they might not be like full-time being paid, but they are obviously taking money for like tweets and doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very rare, especially like if you're talking about influencer, someone who's not like a journalist at like a major publication or something. Yeah, those people are bought and paid for, clearly.
And I think part of that comes from the fact that some of these people, especially if they got involved a while ago and have like these online histories, what else do you do with your life? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is the arc? Unless you want to become a full-time, like, anti-radical, anti-racist campaigner. That you have two job arcs: work for a foreign government or become like the SPLC spokesperson.
Yeah, even SPLC thing. I think even that market is a little bit saturated. I think that used to be a little. I think there's so many of those now that's not even that easy anymore. But the other thing is, it's just fun. Like you look at these people, like it's just a lot funner to just post online compared to any other job you might do.
Absolutely. I hate to admit it because it's killing society. Like it's killing us, but it is a lot of fun to get.
Yeah, and some of these people are idiots. Like I look at these conspiracy theorists with like millions of followers, and like what else is it? This person isn't like doesn't seem they have the brains to like work like as a lawyer or some kind of like high earning professional job. A lot of these people are just like actual idiots, and they have millions of people listening to them. They have Elon. I hate Elon Musk for this, for like pumping these people up. Like they're like, oh, the smartest man in the world, the richest man in the world at least, is thinking I'm interesting. I must have something to say, and they're just crazy people. They're just like the worst fake news trash on the internet. I don't know how, like, if I had one in front of me, like if I had, I don't know, like this person, like Gunter, that Gunter guy, or like one of these,
I still don't believe that guy is real.
I mean, therefore I am like, these people, like, I don't know, like what I would tell them.
What'd you say? Is his name Gunter Eagleman or whatever?
Gunter Eagleman?
Or whatever?
Yeah.
Whoever the fuck that is, yeah.
Because like the best advice for them is like, keep doing what you're doing because you earn a lot more money and have a lot more attention than you objectively deserve for the person you are and what you've accomplished in your life. So I don't know like how you, I don't know how you talk them out of it. You just have to have a culture of not listening to these people.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, isn't it? You're supposed to have a culture of not listening to these people, but they're being massively amplified. I can't really tell how the X algorithm works, to be honest. I don't know if it's amplifying. Like, I don't know if Elon is putting his finger on the scale and like deliberately like pumping up some of these accounts. I don't know if people just genuinely want to listen to people like Candace Owens talk about astral projecting into street lamps.
They absolutely.
I don't know what to do with that. Like, this is what I mean. I get so many emails from people that read my book or watched me back in the day, and they're like, Lauren, like, we need you back in the fight. We need you. I can't compete. I can't compete with making up stories about my compound getting shot up or astral projecting or this. Like, everything is made up, and I'm not willing to do that.
Ooh, that was a Tim Pool call out. Uh-oh.
I'm not willing to do it, so I can't compete. compete. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
No
they
one
want-
wants to listen to me unpack court cases. They
Yeah.
want to listen to you make stuff up about them. That's
Yeah,
way more exciting.
Yeah, I think that you're like, but there is an audience. Like, you won't compete with Candace Owens, maybe like doing truthful content, but people who like you and you have some charisma, like, I've made a living writing. It's not impossible. It's just you're not going to be Candace or Tucker or Alex Jones or these people who are just appealing to idiots. So they're just a lot more idiots. So I'd encourage you, if you actually like want to be part of the conversation. It's a
Gunter Eagleman meme. Wait. Oh,
Is it the banana
Gunther.
one?
Gunther Eagleman's bottom ticking of gasoline prices will be steady for generations is one of the great Contra's calls of our age. I voted for lower gas prices. I win. How long? How long do you think it's going to go on for? You know they're higher
the gas going
now
up?
than they were under the peak bad Biden, right?
Yeah.
Fuck, somebody linked.
But now even if you go to the conservative subreddit, those motherfuckers are now like PhDs and like, oh, well, actually, like the president doesn't affect it.
Well,
that
except
much,
for
blah,
this
blah, blah.
one.
But this time it does. Yeah.
Somebody linked this post, and I guess this guy linked.
Diesel 720 in Cali?
No, I totally just fucking lied. Sorry, just kidding. They are higher now than when Biden left office was the claim. Sorry. Not than they ever were under Biden. That was wrong. Fake news.
So you misspoke.
Yeah, I did. But they could go higher. We'll see. The highest we had in June of 2022 was the average was $4.92 a gallon. God damn.
Give it time. If they keep
February.
targeting gas places, I mean,
Oh,
gas
actually, wait. When did
manufacturers,
we
it's gonna
get?
be fucked.
When did we start the Iran thing? That was this week, right?
Iran thing?
Or that was within the past 2 weeks?
It was in the past 2 weeks, yeah.
Oh shit! So maybe we haven't seen that. That hasn't shown up on this chart yet. Then average gas price USA gallon. What is it right now? $3.88. Ooh. Okay, that would put us at. If it's using the same calculation as is here, that would be the third highest gas prices. Maybe? Oh, no, not quite. But it would put us very, very close. If it gets a little bit higher, it'll be the second highest price for gas in all of U.S. history. Except for, the second highest, yeah. It's like $5.40 in L.A., $3.95 here. God damn. The climbing is pretty scary, too. Week ago average is 360. Yesterday was 384. Today, I guess, is 388. Good luck.
you were like the hardest thing, like the hardest drug you could get, right? It was like Islam is like culturally threatening to Europe. Like maybe Islam is not compatible with like, Northern European countries with gay rights. Like maybe we should think about that. And like all the people who were like actual Nazis were like, yeah, this is the most right-wing person I can possibly find. And so but now they have Nazis. They have people, they have every kind of, if you're a connoisseur of like hating, you have Indian haters, you have anti-Semites, you have, people who want to go back to ancient Rome, you have people who talking about the Middle Ages, like crazy people. I mean, there's just everything there, and it's just like this stupid jumble. And like the base ritual thing is like kind of like it's kind of the synthesis of it all. It's just, it's to the, you get to the like most, you get to the essence of it, which is I'm just trying to be edgy and I'm just trying to signal vice and show loyalty to Trump, and we're all like in this big tent of haters. It's a nightmare. That's absolutely awful.
Total, and the people in it know it's a nightmare too. Like I've gotten more calls. I've gotten so many calls behind the scenes of people talking about, I want out of this. And it's not even that they've changed their whole political belief or anything, but what kind of MAGA and the online right has become is totally detached from what being a conservative in day-to-day life or having right-wing opinions even is, because it's not about the opinions. It's about the base ritual. It's about finding your social group and appealing to them as much as possible so that you can get upvotes and retweets and social clout. That's what the entire thing has become about. Not saying the wrong thing. They've recreated woke culture in their own realm.
How do I know
where
what
you
this
have to,
debuff
you have to
is?
do the base ritual or the virtue signaling 24/7 or you're going to be canceled. And
Has Destiny read the base ritual article by Hanani on stream? I'm pretty sure I did.
and people don't know how to get out of it because it's their entire friend groups. People have married into this social circle. They've married people who are other influencers or are part of these communities. Their business, all of their contacts, all of it. You cannot escape. You can't escape without giving up everything. Your career, even just writing this book, and this isn't even a book of me coming out and being like, I'm a progressive leftist now. It's just me saying, this is literally what happened. This is just what happened in my life. Honestly, not hiding any of it or putting like a a base ritual filter on it. And
Also, all oil factories will need 60 days in Qatar and Bahrain to resume operations, which means this will take very long. Oh, wait, did you cover that Israel was hitting big Iranian, I think it was LNG areas?
Yeah, I did. But they also, apparently, the Trump administration knew that this was happening. So when they went on Twitter, they just fucking lied about it. Like, this was...
That's the least
this was
surprising thing I've ever
allowed.
heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the bad thing is that I think attacks like that, I think the signal is that this is probably going to be going on for quite a while if they're doing attacks like that, because this is like big infrastructure damage that's going to have like far-reaching impacts on everything, you know?
Yep.
I lost so many friends and contacts.
Apparently
and
the
people that would
Marines
have
arrive in
interviewed
2 weeks, too.
Oh, boy.
me or giving me jobs or all of this kind of stuff. And
Israel wouldn't take a shit without our permission. I mean, with prior presidents, maybe, but with Trump, I'm pretty sure they know they can get away with basically whatever they want. How long do I have this stupid fucking fear thing on me for? What the fuck?
social circles, like I said, I still get the calls in the back end, like, how do I get out? How do I get out? But you have to be willing to give up all of the advantages you get. It's the opposite of what it was at the beginning. At the beginning, it was you are potentially going to get fired from your job if you say this stuff. That's dangerous speech. You're potentially going to get canceled by the masses if you say these things. And that's why it's so brave for these influencers to come out and speak like this. It's the complete opposite now. Now you get accolades, you get invited to the White House, you get your own show, you get, thousands of dollars on X.com for saying these things. So when we talk about dangerous speech, I only really believe admissions against one's interest now. Are you saying something that is actually going to potentially get you in trouble? Are you saying something that is actually going to get people mad at you? Are you saying something that's going to potentially lose you money? That's the only stuff I feel like I can believe when I read online, because everything else is just
pandering.
It's just good business.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the disillusionment. That's interesting that people stop being your friend. I mean, I saw a lot of the same things on the right, not like exactly the same way. It wasn't, I think it was kind of a different circle, but I knew a lot of people who ended up like going into the Trump administration. One of the first things you talk about here is like the tobacco thing is very interesting. So you are a big, you're a big kind of celebrity if you're working for Rebel Media. Night of the 2016 election, they do not have you covering the election. They have you in India covering flavored tobacco debates. Explain this thing.
Oh, yeah, 100%. There were obviously lobbyists and interest groups that were working with Rebel Media behind the scenes that would have been giving them money. Ezra is like the most litigious person in the world, and the fact that I wrote this book and haven't been sued kind of tells me something, But yeah, they flew us out to India, and I thought it was so weird because there were so many stories that I would come forward and I'd be like, I want to cover the migrant crisis in Europe. I want to be on the boots on the ground at the Calais jungle. I want to cover this riot, or I want to cover the Trump election stuff. And they'd be like, oh, we don't know if we have the money for it. We don't know if we can send you here or there. Sure, you can go cover the story in Europe if you cover all of the costs and we don't pay you, and maybe we'll pay for your flights and security, but that's it. And this trip to India, it's like 5-star hotel. We're sending the whole team, fancy flights. You've got all these meetings set up. A story that makes no sense, that nobody is watching, is getting no views. It's getting like 10,000 to 20,000 views compared to like hundreds of thousands, millions of views on these other stories I'm covering. It just did not make sense. Obviously, I think, funded by lobbyists. Then I remember we get back, and Faith Goldie, if you remember her back in the day, she keeps whinging that she's being forced to make this documentary and interview these tobacco lobbyists. And I'm like, why are you being forced to do that? Like, what do you mean forced to do that? Then I started discovering we did these petitions all the time there. If you followed Rebel Media, you always see them post like, sign this petition to stop Yazidi girls from being, murdered or whatever it is. Sign this petition to stop Islam from invading the West. And all these stories I was putting out, they'd encourage me to do a petition at the end. And I remember going in the office and asking, where are we delivering these? Like, I just did this big petition about these textbooks in Canada that had woke nonsense in it. And I got all these people that are emailing me saying, I signed the petition. Where are we delivering it? And no one would answer my question. And but the worst part was they looked at me like I was stupid. They looked at me like I was an idiot, because they're like, obviously, we're not delivering them anywhere, Lauren. Like, obviously. What are you talking about? We have the guy who works in, not accounting, advertising, that takes these emails and he sells them to people. Like, that is obviously what we're doing here. Are you stupid? And I was, because I believed in it, because I was someone who watched this content, because I was.
Dustin, I hate doing this doomer shit because last year tariff has scared me forever, but Hormuz Strait being closed is 2 to 3 times worse than tariff situation could ever be. I mean, it's way fucking worse. I don't believe that at all, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I think it can be bad for sure, but I think that on its face, just looking at the absolute number values, maybe, but I feel like the tariff stuff, I think, signaled that America was just not part of the world anymore in terms of being a good faith player in doing stuff or whatever. I think the Hormuz stuff has the potential, or is going to be really bad as well. The thing is, I just don't know I don't know anything. I don't know what's happening with Iran. I don't know what the plan is or what the goal is, or what. If the goal is to literally try to foment like a civil fucking war and then do full-on hardcore regime change, and are we going to occupy the country or what? I just have no idea. I don't know what the fuck is going to happen with that.
a watcher of Sun News and Ezra, and I loved this stuff. And I remember reading his book.
I also think it's kind of weird. Do you remember, Mooten, what was the official stance on? So I know we said we blew all their nuclear reactors and all that bullshit up, okay? But did we ever take an official position on whether or not we got rid of all the enriched nuclear material?
I don't believe they ever took a position on the enriched nuclear material.
What was the opinion of the international community on that? Did we get rid of all that? Or because otherwise, are we just like destabilizing a country and then there's material like that's just going to be kind of like out there?
I'm pretty sure that there was photos of them before the attack getting it out.
Okay. So is that just going to be like
That's
floating
out there
anywhere? Yeah. Okay. People are saying it's buried as well. That's kind of spooky, but
On the way to the first conference, I went with him, and then being in the office and finding out that someone else wrote his books, and I didn't even know what a ghostwriter was at the time, and just being like so sad and shocked, and like the whole thing was falling apart in front of me. But yeah, I think that was like the worst part for me, is watching all of these people that were like me when I was younger, getting scammed constantly by these people, just sending their last $100 with a note saying, "You're going to save Western civilization. You know, I can barely pay the bills, but this is the last $100 in my bank account. Here you go," for a scam. Like, it's a scam.
Have you seen this has become like the Trump method of fundraising? Have you seen these where they would send their old people email?
dude, people obviously they spam my email and shit. Have you ever seen the Trump fundraising emails?
Oh, they're fucking nuts, dude. One of them they brought up in they brought up in one of the briefings, and it was like, you're telling the American people that you're trying to fundraise to here that they are going to be privy to classified information if they donate to you. Like, they're fucking crazy.
They're indistinguishable from scam emails, or they don't even look like scam emails because they're so obvious. They look like scam emails from 2005.
Yeah.
This is an article from 2 days ago. People are shocked over Trump's fundraising email to his supporters. If you've never had the unbridled pleasure of looking through President Donald Trump's fundraising emails, another thing get a little personal. Case in point, an email sent on March 12th with the subject line, "I'm making this announcement public for the first time. This is President Donald J. Trump. I made a special announcement to the public an hour ago. For the very first time ever, I'm opening up spots in the National Security Briefing membership."
Yep.
This email sent by Never Surrender Inc. read, "These final spots are reserved for my strongest supporters. You're one of them. This is no ordinary membership." In the middle of this text urging recipients to claim their spot, which, as per CNN, was a link to donate, was an image of Trump at the dignified transfer of the remains of 6 U.S. service members killed in Kuwait after the U.S. strike on Iran. Claim your spot. Very few spots remaining. It's crazy. I can't give a top source, but Dylan Burns claimed that lots of the uranium would be handed to Russia. That would be my guess, is that we would even facilitate that transfer because Russia is a nuclear power that can be trusted to keep it and not just shoot it off randomly. But would Donald Trump do that? I don't know. I would hope so, but I just don't know if they have any minds whatsoever left in the DOD. Hold on, I don't remember these structures. The Joint Chiefs of Staff and everything is the civilian side for the military. Is that part of the Department of Defense? Is the head of that the Joint Chiefs of Staff? Or is that a separate branch cabinet thing? I'm sorry, the Department of War. My bad. DOD, yeah. I don't know if any of the talent is still there, or if any of these people have any fucking idea. I just don't know for anything. I don't know about anything. I don't know.
Emails, and they would be like, Donald Trump was looking at the list of like patriots who contributed, and he was very disappointed not to see you there.
IFOs, because rebels sold all my emails to their mailing lists.
Yeah, if you've ever given money or been involved with anything conservative, you are a victim too. Yeah, and like there's these old people with like dementia who are like, there was a CNN story where like their kids would call them up and be like, "Stop giving all your money to Trump," and they're like, "No, you don't understand. I'm like part of his inner circle."
Oh my
He
God.
needs me. Like,
It's so bad.
They got these people convinced that they're like major donors who like Trump is just thinking about like before he's going on stage or while he's doing stuff. It's remarkable. I mean,
insane.
this stuff used to be a little bit like, it's like the scam model that like you saw of like right-wing media became like conservatism and became the Republican Party. It just like filtered up to like the very top.
100. Even the fact that the president has a crypto pump and dump coin, I'm still trying to fathom that. But yeah, I watch it every few weeks. I watch the same.
Real question, would Iran actually just nuke Israel/enemies just because? Like, that logic is non-existent? I mean, I would have said no in the past because you're still playing by rules of war and you don't want to be completely demolished. But in a world where it's a regime change, now it's an existential threat to your country. Actually, is this the very first regime change war against Iran's not a nuclear power, sorry. I guess they don't have nukes yet, so they don't have nukes that they can shoot. So never mind. That was nice bait.
Same iterations of the same scams, and I keep wondering who is continually falling for this. Who is? But the system protects itself very well. I did a speech at a kind of libertarian free speech conference a few weeks ago, where I spoke about some of the scams in right-wing circles, and when they uploaded my speech, they had cut it out. They had cut out it where I talked about, and I was like, well, like this is a free speech organization that's doing this, and they've cut out the part where I talk about it was Elon Musk was hosting a giant rally called Unite the Kingdom.
Hanani is the new Sam Harris? Oh no. Does Hanani hate Arabs that much?
With Tommy Robinson in London.
He's doing Unite the Right, but in England he's calling it
Unite the Kingdom. Yeah, but it was funded. They had all these shirts and symbols, and they're like, if you want to really unite the kingdom, you have to buy UTK coin. That's how you unite the kingdom. There's a great art Substack about it that goes over it. Pimlico Journal, I don't know what it's called, but it talks about, it's called Unite the Rug Pull. And then it goes up to like a market cap of $2 or $3 million while this rally is going on. Everyone's buying this coin to save the West, and then immediately gets rug pulled and just crashes the day after. And like Tommy and all his mates and I guess Elon, they're all making a ton of money off this. And I'm like, I feel like 10 years ago, this would have been the biggest story in dissident media because you couldn't even put ads on your video back in the day because people saw that as a compromise to talking about politics. You're doing ads on a political video. People used to get canceled for that. But it's just totally been normalized in the public consciousness. I think it's because more boomers are online now. And they got kind of one-shotted by the constant ads on like Fox News shows and on conservative talk radio, whereas there was a lot of like internet savvy people that were doing the early dissident sphere YouTube. I don't know what it is. Post-COVID, it got worse because you had all these like people that have total Lemore of internet characters logging in and getting involved in the political conversation because they were locked indoors. That made it really even worse. And now it's just like the algorithms are cooked.
Yeah. Speaking of Tommy Robinson, I love the way you talk about these people in England. They are basically like these white street thugs, and they're just like fighting with Muslims, and then they are like going online and saying we're saving Western civilization because like they're fighting over drug territory. Can you talk about this?
I don't know how to. Once again, it's just one of these things. How do I explain reality that only I've seen and I've lived? That's never filmed to people.
I think Iran's retaliation still have an understandable perceived value for them, like the effort to tank the markets in order for the U.S. to chill, but using a nuke would have no strategic value like that, just suicide bombs, so I'd still doubt it. I feel like they're just tanking the markets and doing that shit for some semblance of reprieve to get the U.S. to fuck off or something. But I mean, like it's an existential war for them, so I think if they had nukes, I don't know why they wouldn't use it.
I think they would use it.
Yeah, why the fuck not?
I mean, they're trying to
fucking retarded.
Fuck up the entire world right now by fucking off the natural gas and shit. So I don't think they give a fuck.
Yeah.
People who have only ever seen the polished like TV show. I don't know how to explain it, but like, yeah, when I went to London, I met with Tommy and his mates. They're gangsters. They're gangsters. They're talking about all their bar fights. I remember howling, laughing. I think he's in jail now. Like some of these people I'm meeting are just in jail now, and they get out of the Tommy movement or they get kicked out or whatever when they actually go down for crimes. They aren't public facing anymore. But like describing to us like strangling people or beating people up for money or meeting guys with like full on machete scars down their face. And they're like, yeah, some Packy did this to me when we were in a standoff. And Tommy used to run tanning salons that he sold coke out of. And that was kind of his like turf.
So he was making white people less white and selling them drugs?
I mean, the man is a funny guy. Like, don't get me wrong. I understand why people enjoy hanging out with these people. They're crazy. And a lot of the people who were willing to say this stuff online 10 years ago are going to be socially odd people. They're going to be the crazier people on the outskirts of society that are already doing things that are a little weird. But yeah, he was basically like a drug dealer and a gangster. And I think these people realized there was a lot more money in scamming people on the internet through cryptocurrencies and various fake fundraisers than there was in selling drugs. And it was a lot safer. But
not just safer, it was fucking encouraged.
Sorry, I'm like having so many memories of this. It's so wild to see like fundraisers be put up and then be in a bar with these people laughing, like spilling their guts laughing, like we're going to do a line of coke and laugh about like the audience donating to this thing that is obviously fake or the story we've just published that's obviously fake. I wish the audience realized that this is how a lot of the influencers talk about them, or at least some of them. I think it's more going to be like the Tommy, Andrew Tate sphere, those kind of people that I think they're very aware that they're scamming their audiences. I think they're very aware that the people that follow them are idiots. I read your piece. What was it from yesterday? What was the guy's theory of self-deception?
Robert Trivers.
Trivers. I read your piece on that, and I largely agree that many people partake in the self-deception. I think this side that I saw of people that were doing a lot of drugs in the right-wing movement couldn't deceive themselves because it was so obvious what they were doing. So the drugs kind of helped mask and helped,
Are you really not more concerned with Israel and the United States using nukes at this point? At least Iran has a fatwa against them and openly state they go against their religion. American Israel doesn't.
Why would they use nukes?
What?
What would the United States use a nuke on right now?
I don't know. Trump could because he's fucking retarded, but...
Yeah, he's retarded, but like, he doesn't need to nuke Iran. They control the fucking skies. Like, if they want to bomb the entirety of Iran, I'm pretty sure they could do that without a nuke. They could glass it.
Maybe he thinks it'll make them stop the Strait. I'm surprised he's not saber rattling at all, though.
Say again?
I'm surprised he's not saber rattling nukes, like threatening to do it like Putin does or did.
I don't think that.
Yeah, but he's a big like nothing's off the table guy, so I'm surprised he's not like, whoa, we might nuke him, you know?
Yeah, I assume if somebody asked him, he might say that, but he hasn't. Thank God he hasn't.
Deceive themselves because it was so obvious what they were doing. So the drugs kind of helped mask and helped, cope with the constant lying to the public,
Yeah, I mean, I had it's a different crowd I was thinking of. And I was thinking about maybe like talking about actually in right-wing politics, I've seen there are people who are actually cynical, who do actually just like laugh at their audience and take their money and enjoy it. That's probably like not most people that I've dealt with.
That's not most, yeah.
The most people I've dealt with have been like kind of, especially if they're like intellectual in some way. If they're intellectual in some way, they'll have a justification for whatever they're thinking or whatever they're doing. But with someone like Tommy Robinson, you think that movement, those people are more just cynical. They kind of know it's all a joke. Like, do they even care about immigration?
I do think they care about, because like there is that, like the gang turf war stuff. Like that's, your mates are getting beat up by the Packy gangs.
Right. So they know that the racism is genuine. They don't want these people around.
I don't even think, I wouldn't call Tommy racist. It's like very much because like they'd have black people or they'd have brown people kind of like on their side. Yeah. But it's like, it's this like ethno-religious kind of war going on the ground. And like they genuinely do hate each other, but it's just not necessarily for all the reasons that are public. Like a very good example is that court case that I mentioned, which it's the wildest story in the world to me, because you had Elon Musk, you had Jordan Peterson and Daily Wire and all of these people promoting this.
P word is a slur, by the way. It's a slur in Britain, but it's not really here in the United States. I don't think people like it's like you can say there's like a transferred slurredness, but in the US we just don't think about it that way.
It's like saying gypsy in the United States. Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Called Silence that Tommy made, which was about this court case in which he slandered a 14 or 15-year-old Muslim refugee kid. It'll come to me. I can't remember what the kid's name is, but he said that the kid was basically a part of like grooming gangs and beating women up and like sexual assault, like awful things about this kid. And the whole reason he did this and made these videos was because a boy beat the kid up at school. This video went viral on the internet where he's saying, I'm going to drown you. I'm going to drown you, you effing bastard. And everyone's like, wow, racist attack on young refugee boy. This is awful. But the problem is that boy, Reese, that boy was the son of one of his, or the younger brother of one of his best mates that he used to be in like a gang.
So the Muslim kid was getting bullied on the video, or the white kid?
The Muslim kid was getting bullied in this video.
And they turned out to be Tommy Robinson's friend's brother.
Yes, it was Tommy Robinson's friend's brother. And so this kid is getting super canceled. Reese McLaurin, and Reese McLaurin was either the friend's name or the boy's name. I think it's his friend's name, and then his brother is something McLaurin. This goes viral, and Tommy decides, I guess he probably got a call from his friend saying, you got to defend my brother. He's getting canceled on the internet. So Tommy makes a video saying, actually, you know what? Not only is this boy not a racist, he's a hero, because he was beating up this young Muslim kid because he was part of a grooming gang. And this young kid, Jamal Hijazi is his name. This young kid, Jamal Hijazi, was actually beating girls up and turning them black and blue. Awful stuff. So then the local community start canceling Jamal Hijazi and his family. The family have to pull their kid out.
This is the one, we looked this up for that Tommy Robinson kept getting fucked in court over and over and over again because he couldn't stop talking about it.
School, who's already being bullied. He literally already had his arm broken from a previous event. Like, it's really bad. Pulls the kid out of school. They have to get security cameras. They have to like move out of town. Ruins their life. They decide to sue Tommy, and they win because he made it up. Yeah. He made up all the stuff about this kid. It was completely
There was one. Didn't he have some kind of run-in with a girl? Like, did he hit some girl or something at school? There was something like
there was. There was one girl that said he hit me with a hockey stick, but then when they brought it to court, she claims that he hurt her so bad she had to get an MRI, she had to get on medication, it gave her anxiety. But then when they cross-examined it, there were no medical reports. In fact, there was only a medical report showing that she had nothing wrong with her and she was perfectly good. The anxiety predated the attack by like a year or two. And like every single one of these claims fell apart when it was properly cross-examined.
Yeah. So there was no rape, there was no grooming. This was just completely made up. He just was a...
Well, the worst part is when Tommy started posting this, people started messaging him, like boomer moms and friends, and they're like, I know that Jamal boy, and you're right, he is awful. And one mom messages him and says, he actually beat up my daughter, this, that. And so he posts this, and then in the comments of this post that's going viral now, she says, I'm so sorry, why would you post this publicly? I just made that up to get attention from you. Like, I said this because my daughter was beat up by a bunch of girls, but it had nothing to do with the Jamal kid. But I knew you would only give a shit if I mentioned the Jamal kid, and I wanted to talk to you, basically. And then he just continued to press that claim, even after she said this and admitted and like pulled back all of her reports. And then he goes to her house in person for the Silence film with a hidden camera and says, you weren't lying to me on Facebook, right? You weren't lying to me on Facebook. And she goes, maybe I wasn't. I don't know. She doesn't know she's being filmed. Her hero has shown up at her door and she's already embarrassed that she's lied for his attention. And then he takes...
I feel like if you really believe, this is a thing that... But I don't know if I'm just built different. There's a thing that always bothers me when some people have strong feelings about a particular thing and then they end up lying about it. I feel like if you're lying about a thing, I feel like that undermines your sincerity about the thing you believe. I remember like even when I would do like my manifestos with August, or I don't even know who I could point to that I've worked with in the past. Like I've always stressed like hugely on if you're going to give me a clip or something supporting something about a person that I'm fighting with or whatever, like I need to see the full context. I have to know like where this came from. I have to have like a good background on all this because I don't want to misquote something or be incorrect about a thing, because I feel like Because if I have something that's really important that I want to convey and I start lying about a thing tangential to it or that's related to it, then I feel like it undermines your credibility about the whole thing at all. And how can you claim to care about it? And if it really is a problem, you shouldn't have to lie about it at all either, you know? I don't know.
But that's just because you're trying to be good faith. I don't think the average dumb fuck online gives a fuck about that. They're just doing it for money.
He's like, that's right. No, like we didn't give them a fucking dime.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it's like you look at that and it's like, was this a whole fake business meeting set up to bring me out there,
Yeah.
or set up to just hang out with your favorite right-wing e-celebrities? Like, what is this? You know?
So he wanted to have sex with you. Is that why he brought you out there?
Well, he was messaging me. I only found this out later because I went back and looked to see if he had DM'd me. And a year before, Tommy brought this up and was like, hey, Lauren, I've got these investors in Eastern Europe. We have to go out there. Like, I've got all the tickets. Don't worry about it. It's sorted. Like, trust me, these are cool guys. He had messaged me a year earlier asking, hey, are you still, what are you doing? Saving the West? Like, what are you up to? I've been watching for like 10 years.
Hey, fellow Westerner, this black
Hello?
thing from hey.
She's like, are you still in Sicily saving the West or something? And then he asked, like, he did the thing where he's like, do you ever come to Britain? Like, when are you in Britain next? And that's always, and he had like 2,000 or 4,000 followers on Twitter at the time or something. So I just like ignored it because that's always, I'm not going to hang out with you
No, this
random.
guy flew me out. He wanted to bang me. I fell for it again.
Did she just say she ignored him because he didn't have enough followers on Twitter? Yikes. Maybe she was an e-girl.
2000. That's like, he did the thing where he's like, do you ever come to Britain? Like, when are you in Britain next? And that's always, and he had like 2,000 or 4,000 followers on Twitter at the time or something. So I just like ignored it because that's always, I'm not going to hang out with you random 4,000 follower Twitter account, like I'm not going to respond to your bid to see you next time I'm in Britain. So I ignored it. And then a year later, somehow he's got Tommy Robinson roped into bringing me out there to Romania. But clearly he was a fan of the e-girl, blonde, Lauren Southern brand back in the day. But yeah, very, even when we got there, him and Tristan with their little fancy sports cars showed up, and Andrew was very adamant, I'll be driving Lauren. She's coming in my car. You take the video team and Tommy, Tristan, snap, like go. And then, as soon as I'm putting on my seatbelt, he's talking about what a fan of my work he is and everything. So yeah, it was weird.
And these,
Very weird.
so he assaults you. I mean, he's never been convicted, never been charged with this. But it's kind of, there's a pattern here, so it's not, you have no real incentive to make this up. And like nobody, like does anyone take does anyone like, you know what, I had dealings with Andrew Tate, I'm not going to deal with Andrew Tate anymore, or I'm going to denounce Andrew Tate. Like, you're laughing, like this is like.
I'm laughing because I was like, I didn't expect it. The best part.
Fuck, I should have been a conservative, dude. God damn, they got it good over there.
Was it was quite the opposite. I had people I know and friends of mine, like Tim
Oh,
Pool,
shit, my
went
call's
and
at
did a
3,
stream
not
the next
4.
day
Whoops.
and just said, I think she's making it up. That's all he said. No, hey Lauren, what's going on? Can you show us like the evidence? Can you send us the reports you have? This, that, and the other. Just she's making it up, And I have a medical document from 2018 report made about asphyxiation, strangulation, 3 years before the Vice News piece came out that was his MO with all these other women that made police reports in the UK that he strangles women. And it's like, did I have a DeLorean? Like before this guy was famous? Like I'm making it up. I just went back in time and made this report somehow knowing he was going to become famous and somehow knowing that was his MO 3 years before. If you do like just a tiny bit of thinking, it's just a bit absurd to come out and just say, well, she's making it up. But they don't, it's not about that. It's about, he looks at algorithms, he looks at what is going to affect his popularity, what he thinks his audience is going to like to hear, and that's what he says. I haven't seen, not a single person within the right-wing media sphere has contacted me to ask me to corroborate, give any evidence, only left-wingers. That was what was depressing. Because it's like, I actually am happy to like talk and corroborate and this and that, but there's just no curiosity because so many people have gotten themselves invested or connected with that brand, and they know it would be bad for them at this point. It's like all the people with the connections to Epstein or whatever. I know you've got, but like you don't want to be, if you've been in a photo with this person, you don't want them having a large news story that says actually they're guilty of this crime.
Yeah. I mean, it's dark. So whatever, like people, so a lot of people don't like you online still. Like the right wing sphere, they're mad at you. Is it all stem from the Tate thing, or like what else are they mad at you about? The fact that
I mean,
that's
part of it. There's been a lot of like Milo published an article in 2019 saying that I slept with men to write all my content. So that was kind of like this big rumor that was spread.
You slept with them and they would write articles for you?
How did Milo? Because I remember that person was like the biggest motherfucker on the internet back in the day. How did they lose all of that?
Pedophile stuff. He went on some, I don't even think it was a big podcast, but he made that comment about how like, oh yeah, like I got raped or sexually molested as a kid by a thing, and I think it's important for all gay guys to get sexually molested. Yeah. Half joking, half edgy, half true, and then I don't think that buried him.
That cooked, yeah, it's GG.
Someone said, you can't hide from the truth of my last comment, buddy guy. He said, Destiny, doesn't Snow need to be Targaryen so the lady Targaryen leader, Dany, can be afraid he will take over the crown, so it makes her even crazier and less trusting of anyone and so on? No, I don't think that was that important. She was always going to be crazy.
On live stream the same day all of my DMs with Destiny are getting leaked to the internet. It psychologically broke me in ways that I cannot explain.
Yeah, it seems like that was different because this seemed like there was a serious possibility. You thought at some point you might like go to jail, right? They were trying to at least convince you of that.
Oh, 100%. I don't think there was any possibility that that was going to happen, but they were like, that was a tactic they were using, and obviously that's a tactic.
Was that guy? Was that cop you talk about? I forget his name. The Fed. Jason. He was trying to date you, basically.
He was flirty. He was definitely flirty. He kept asking me to go for dinner off the clock, and I'm like, I'm not going on a casual dinner with you. And he's like, feds have to eat too.
This is amazing. So, like, you
Chad.
are.
What?
What a Chad.
Oh.
He was on
Like,
the
yes,
clock
they're-
and trying to date her.
He's working his source.
Like
Yeah,
the feminists
fuck
kind of
it.
have like, did you dismiss feminism like too much? Because like I think one of the things I think about the difference between me and you is like I'm not a woman, so like nobody wants to talk. Like they don't care. They don't all want to have sex with me. That's like not something that everyone I meet in my life or anyone who sees me online is thinking about. But if you're a good-looking woman and that's what you're known for, like it's everything. It's like you have your fans. They're this. Like you go someplace, like you're being investigated for like a federal crime. The guy likes like, oh, maybe I can get her to hang out with me. This is an experience, right? This is something that like women have a point that men are just kind of like this, always looking for opportunities.
I never looked at the world that way, and I think that was the biggest problem going into the political world. And it also made me stupid because I was under this impression that people would pump my tires because I was so smart. I'm like, I must be saying really smart stuff because all of these men I'm around are agreeing with me and saying I'm so amazing and smart. The idea that they would just be agreeing with me because they want to sleep with me was just completely out of my mental vocabulary. Partially because I grew up hyper evangelical. So the men that I was around, it was just a different. The people who claim to be Christians on the internet and in like the right-wing political circles do so for social and political clout. Like they're not people that grew up in evangelical communities the way that I did in a lot of cases. Because if they were actually going to churches, they would be pulled in for meetings with their church elders and kicked in. Some of these people that are like holding up crosses and yelling at people on the internet, they would be dragged out of the church by. And I went to a lot of different churches. I went to Mennonite, I went to Baptist, I went to Charismatic, I went to a Pentecostal school until I was 14.
Charismatic? Are these real churches?
And none of the behavior I see from online
Sound like
Christians would
D&D
ever be
classes.
acceptable in any of these circles. So I don't know where these people are coming from, but I just assumed that we kind of had the same mindset and values when I went into the political world. And a lot of these people were just signaling like, okay, it is based to say I'm a monarchist. It's based to say I'm Christian. It's based to say I'm right wing. And this is like these are my pronouns. So yeah, I didn't have the assumption
Medieval
that all these guys
monarchist,
wanted to sleep with
medieval
me.
monarchist racist are my pronouns.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing as pronouns. It's the based signaling. It's no different.
Yeah. So that's interesting what you say about religion, because I think that like a lot of like if you were talking not just like if you're talking to a left wing person, like a typical like very left wing person who didn't like evangelical communities, they would say, oh, they're probably all just like molesting girls and sleeping around and they're just kind of hiding it or whatever. But what you're saying is that like, no, these people actually live their values. And so when you were 19 and you went off into like right-wing media land, you were completely unprepared because your community had actually protected you. Like not everyone was hitting on you when you were 15, 16, trying to sleep with you.
Absolutely. I felt very safe. I like the men that I grew up around were lovely. Like I grew up around really wonderful men, and it did not prepare me for the world.
Did you ever, there's a book you should read about, how much do you know about Roger Ailes and what was going on at Fox?
I watched the Bombshell movie, and then I also watched the TV show. What was it called?
It was on Showtime, yeah. It was the loudest voice.
The loudest voice. That was a crazy show.
Yeah.
Still 20 minutes of this? Okay, fuck it.
Yeah, well, it's based on a book, so if you want to read the book, it's really good.
Wait,
Yeah,
is that the book written by? Okay, I always wondered what happened to the guy that worked for him, and he made him set up the newspaper in his local town. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, no, that's they tell that story in the book, but that's the book. The book is written by.
Okay, I couldn't find that guy's book. It's disappeared off the internet, and I'm like,
I don't know about that book. The other book was Gabe Sherman. He was a Vanity Fair journalist, and so he's always done the Fox News beat, and so he wrote the biography of Roger Ailes, which they just did the show of with Russell Crowe. That's I think that's I brought it up because I think that's probably, it seems like that's probably what happened. Like a lot of these women are like, I want to be in media. I'm conservative. I'm going to go work for Fox News, and they're all just like a bunch of they're just a bunch of horn dogs like at the top. It's like it's weird. It's like conservative, like the base is like evangelical, normal people, nice people, well-behaving people for the most part. There's scandals and stuff. There's there's cases of child molestation and stuff. Not the norm. Like I think you're probably right. Like most of these people who go to church or just in the middle of the country or in Canada or whatever are like good, decent people. And then like the top of the conservative movement, they're just kind of they're getting these people's money and their votes, and they're sucking up their women, and they are.
Can you watch the whole security hearing with Tulsi Cash and co? How long is it?
They're just terrible. They're just morally awful in every way, and it's a strange. It's just a very strange dynamic.
And because their base are so trusting and live in such high trust communities within, especially these evangelical communities,
Wait, why didn't my first card
they can
take
take
energy?
advantage of them so much easier. And I don't know, like I never
was it
want
an
to
anger
do the
card?
thing where I'm assuming whether someone is a real Christian or not, but there kind of does have to be a level of skepticism that exists. Like you look at, for example, Ashley St. Clair. Everyone super canceled her because she's coming out with left-wing statements, and they're saying, well, she's super dishonest, blah, 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 blah. But then the second Russell Brand, who has all these rape allegations about him, comes out and is right-wing and goes against the feminist mantra and leftist mantra that he's been propping up for the last decade, becomes right-wing. Of course, that's perfectly believable. And he's baptizing people on stages now and like got the speaking slot at Turning Point USA. and making tons of money. What are we doing here? How can you say that anyone that goes against you is lying? Ashley turning left wing is a lie, and then Russell Brand turning right wing. No, that's perfectly real.
Did you see this one thing with he was like, they silenced me for reading the Bible, and he posted like this meme of himself with the Bible. It's just so funny. I love the Russell.
Okay,
it's
my
hilarious.
favorite thing that happened was not my favorite.
Can you give us general details on what the call was about? I am formally proposing to Mrs. Mooten.
Woohoo!
Not Peach, but Mooten's mom. It's one of that congressional campaign I talked about. Hopefully, working with them in a big way. This
Good
upcoming-
memes.
soon.
This was horrendous, but I noticed it the worst after Charlie Kirk was killed, because Charlie was Christian. A lot of the evangelical community were getting fired up online, and you saw people who didn't grow up in Christian circles, like they're looking at the algorithm, their head is clicking, and they're thinking, okay, I have to do Christian signaling. That's what's going to get a lot of likes right now. Everyone's saying, I'm going to church for the first time ever because of Charlie Kirk's death. It's inspired me. By the way, none of those people are going to church now. Like, that was like signaling. But there were like senators, and Greg Gutfeld is a great example. He came out on Fox News and said, I know Charlie Kirk is in heaven right now and Jesus Christ is asking for his autograph. And I was like,
Is that a joke? I mean, Gutfeld's a comedian. Is this a joke? I assume?
No.
I thought Gutfeld was an open.
I'm like, that's heresy. But he was saying, you think he was joking about Charlie Kirk's death?
I haven't seen
On Fox News?
I've never seen Greg Gutfeld not seem like he was joking. Like, everything that comes out of his mouth seems to be tongue in cheek.
No, but this was like right after Charlie's death, where everyone's like making very serious statements. And then there was another guy that said something similar, like Charlie Kirk is a saint, this and that. And I'm like, I can't tell if these people know that they're like committing heresy because they don't understand Christian tradition or religion enough, and they're just kind of like trying to signal Christian stuff right now. But I see it all the time where I'm like, that is a completely improper like reading of biblical.
Yeah.
Anyways,
You must love the Trump paintings, the one with Trump and Jesus kind of standing side by side.
it's just
Is that
there's
real?
so much. Yeah.
What? The paintings?
The Trump painting with I never heard of that.
I don't know if they're real paintings or just memes on Twitter, but
Okay.
This would never fly in the community side. My culture is not your costume.
But that's that. The evangelicals do love Trump, and they do they do eat this stuff up. So it must be, I don't know, like there must be something there. There must be some compatibility. It can't be kind of random, right?
Well, I think that is where you get the right wing signaling to Christians. Like there is this signaling because it's 62 to 69% of the population in the U.S. identifies as Christian or something. So it's signaling to this base, and they appreciate this.
are you finally willing to admit the predictive history guy was right about a lot in regards to our ability to go to war with Iran? Have the mountains blocked us? What? Okay.
signaling, and they assume that it's real,
Let's get
and
the guy
so
in
they
Discord.
reciprocate. We're praying to you. God bless you. This, that, and the other. And I think it's very genuine from one
57
side.
damage. We
I don't
can do
think it's very
this.
genuine from the political side.
Can you actually be fooled by Trump? I mean, it's so like you have to. You're right. Maybe they're just so trusting that like
Easy.
you can't even comprehend how trusting they are, because this guy looks like a fraud, and every like intelligent supporter of Trump who's like in his orbit knows he's like not a sincere Christian, right? And that he's obviously
Intelligent
like in it for
supporter?
the money.
Who,
That's an
what?
oxymoron, right?
Wait, who are you talking about?
He said every intelligent supporter of Trump.
Comprehend. You have to. You're right. Maybe they're just so trusting that like you can't even comprehend how trusting they are, because this guy looks like a fraud, and every like intelligent supporter of Trump who's like in his orbit knows he's like not a sincere Christian, right?
Oh, he just means like the people around him, like Rubio, basically, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that he's
Yeah.
obviously like in it for the money, and he's obviously corrupt and all these other things. And so it could be maybe that's just it. Like there's a theory that's unsympathetic to these people. Like a left-wing person who writes about Christian nationalism would say, oh, they're all secretly fascist anyway, and they're racist, and they're just looking for a guy who's going to be their leader. And I guess there's a sympathetic version, which is just like they are just really, really naive, and that's why they follow this guy, and that's why they get taken in by this stuff.
Well, yeah, and you have to remember everyone's algorithm is like you're just not seeing stuff that challenges what you think. Like your Facebook algorithm, your X algorithm, even Instagram. I'll go and I like going on some of my friends' accounts and scrolling through what they're seeing, and especially like left-wing or more progressive friends, we see completely different realities. Like our algorithms are just, I'm like, you didn't see this story? You didn't see you didn't see Megyn Kelly saying Mark Levine has a micro penis? No? Oh, that's not on your feed anywhere? Because that's all over my feed, It's just, if you're not seeing anything that questions your worldview and everything is affirming it, and everyone's saying that every day it's a new story about how he's done this for Christians or that for Christians,